On this video we are going to discuss a paper that I have chosen as one of the key papers of my current research on Ghrelin. The objective of the aim of the research is to make a mathematical model for Ghrelin using biomathematics or mathematical biology principles. The idea is to make a model for Ghrelin that can be used to understand how appetite can be modeled, can be simulated, and how that can be connected to other hormones that has already been widely studied, such as insulin. So we have the glucose as the core, as the node of a network of hormones. So we have several hormones that somehow in certain levels control what you need the most, which is like the micro and the micronutrients that there are nutrients such as protein, carbohydrates, and fats that are quite important for our existence, each of them is at level. So we have the hormones that make sure that we have the right dose in the right time, and that you have a proper control, because of the fact that certain time you can have too much, certain times not have too much, and such as the fact that you do not have to eat all the time. You have to eat like 3 hours, maybe more, and maybe you can even stay days without eat. So it is all of this is possible because we have a network of hormones, of biomolecules that make it possible. It is a miracle of control engineering. It's a miracle of biomathematics at work, showing that that principles from mathematics has been studied for no living system can be applied to understand living system. If all the limitations, but the limitations, if you keep working and believe with time you can make it better. So so basically, the core of my research at the moment is Ghrelin, but my ambition which I'm trying to go on was to include other hormones. But for now, in order to make the research practical, we are just focused on Ghrelin, and the next step will be make the connection leptin and insulin. Leptin and insulin were chosen because they are extremely correlated with Ghrelin. You know that leptin has it's a signal of your body of how much fat you have accumulated, and in some cases such as obesity, anorexia, or some anomalies of eating, some eating disorders, people they tend to eat too much or too less, and in this kind of case we fall into a zone of exception. The kind of law that has been found for ghrelin, leptin, insulin, they break down when you go to this kind of domain in which people goes out of the box. They did not so we can have a region in which those laws of ghrelin, leptin, insulin, other hormones apply, and you have the zone which is a higher body mass index or a very low body mass index. So there are levels in which human start to behave completely different from the others, in which you have what sometimes can be called a disease, or at least the onset of the potential onset of a disease. This kind of the understanding could have possibly which is something that unfortunately just the future can say. We cannot say it for sure right now, but the promise is that this kind of understanding of using biomathematics could increase the number of in silico simulation. By increasing the number of in silico simulation, you can decrease the number of in vivo and in vitro simulation, which does to in vitro and in vivo involves the use of the biomass, which could be living matter or tissue that we require to take out of the living system, which is very complex stuff in our society nowadays, and I agree completely. So one of the motivation of this work is to increase the possibility of making silico simulation for eating disorders. And at the same time, there is a second motivation, which is to make biology and medicine more close to mathematics and the physics, in which you have precise laws and you can understand stuff from first principles. So nowadays you have a science that's inductive, which is you need the experiment. So you go to the experiment, the general. But the promise is that in the future we will make biology and medicine as a deductive science, in which we have laws, we have principles that were designed especially for living systems, that every living system are going to respect. And we can, with pencil and paper, like the computer, to make a prediction in very important sites, instead of going there and make the experiment, which can be very expensive and even unethical. So the slides are organized in excerpt. The excerpt were taken from the paper that you can find here in the here. So this is the paper. It was published 2000, so it has been 15. It's a 15 years old paper. The question is, what has changed so far? That's what I'm trying to understand right now. So I believe that a lot has changed, but this paper is a very important paper in literature, that people make a lot of reference to this paper. So I believe it's a very important paper to be taken into account. So basically, our talk here, our paper has this title, exactly this title, very simple, small, very nice paper. You can see here from the reference, and you have three keywords in the paper here, which is Ghrelin, adiposity, and rodents. So Ghrelin is the hormone that we are going to consider here, the core. Adiposity is the point, the reservoir that Ghrelin was proven to have some influence in rodents. So if you want to apply this for human, we need to somehow to take as granted that can be extended, or try to find some published work, that which is my job right now, or try to make an experiment. So that is one of the limitation of the paper, and if I base my research on this paper, this will be as well the limitation of my work. So the first excerpt, which you can find another video just for this excerpt, I have designed for some of the excerpts. You have separate videos, so you can go there and see further discussion. This one, the discussion here is a what you can call a holistic discussion, in the sense that I'm more worried about the whole picture than one specific research, one specific excerpt. So Ghrelin as a network edge. So what does that mean? That means very simple. If you have a network, then you have a connection between the nodes. This connection means that somehow this node can influence this node, and here in the node we have three players: in the stomach, which is the site of production of Ghrelin; the hypothalamus, which is a region, which is a place in the brain that controls very important functions of the body, such as metabolism and appetite; and we have finally the pituitary gland, which is a twin gland that exists below the hypothalamus. and they have very important function to control other glands in the body and so on. So this was taken from the paper, our first excerpt. So basically what the paper says, with exception of a potential paracrine effect, which paracrine effect mean that one cell, it's a way of communication between cell in your body. So one cell influences the other by some kind of chemical. So with exception of paracrine effect, they may offer an endocrine link between. So endocrine linking. Sometimes people are using nowadays. They say if you but for the kind of connect that Ghrelin is creating, people in general they like to use not endocrine linking. They like to use neuroendocrine linking because it's a connection between the periphery and the brain. So people in general they like to use neuroendocrine linking. However, if you look for in the books of physiology, the word neuroendocrinology or neuroendocrine is not very easily found. So you can find on the internet, but cannot find it in the book. So I think it's a new name, still trying to catch on. So as I said before, you have three players on this small network. You have the stomach, the hypothalamus, and the pituitary gland. So since the hypothalamus and the pituitary glands is recognized to be connected to energy regulation, to homeostasis, energy homeostasis, it gives you the conclusion that maybe ghrelin can be connected to regulation of energy balance in your body. So now we have the picture of this. We are going to have the picture of the sentence. So the picture have two kind of arrow, the continuous and the dot one. The continuous one tell you that it's a direct connection, direct influence, and the dot one is indirect. The direct one, you can say that it has already been proven, so there is nothing. The majority of the papers and books are going to tell that it's true. The dot one is still a controversy, such as the fact that leptin, the second hormone that works for ghrelin, can influence metabolism. It's still a kind of a controversy. It's not yet accepted by everyone, by every doctor. It's still under question. So in the same way that the ghrelin influence somehow the sympathetic nervous system, the central nervous system, it's still something under debate. So it's something that must be taken, must be carefully studied, carefully analyzed. If you use that mathematical model, you should be aware that it's still something under investigation. So this is the network, which is a very small and simple network, and you have the hypothalamus, you have the stomach, and you have the pituitary gland. So here you have the connection between stomach and the hypothalamus, and hypothalamus and pituitary gland. So this one, it's already old, such as it's not something new. I mean, the hypothalamus can influence the pituitary gland. It's nothing that we are discussing now. So it's already in the books. If you go to the classical book of physiology, it's already present there. So the question now, how the stomach talk to the hypothalamus, and the hypothesis of the paper is that it's done by one of the hypotheses of the paper that it's done by Ghrelin. And what is not yet quite answered, neither by the paper or by the literature, is how the hypothalamus, how this control of the stomach by ghrelin can influence your metabolism. Is it by the central nervous system? Is it by direct control of ghrelin? It's not yet completely clear yet how this influence is created. So the second excerpt is ghrelin as a fat utilization control. So in the first excerpt you said that ghrelin creates a network of the important part of your body, of key points of your body, which is the stomach, that is the first one to feel when you are eating, and is the one that digests and can have very important is a very important player in your eating. If you have an eating disorder, the stomach will be a very important player on this kind of disorder. So now we are saying that ghrelin can influence fat utilization, which is, you can say, the final point. So you can, if you're trying to make a big picture, you can see the stomach is the door, is the indoor. So everything starts in the stomach, and everything finish in the fat. So the fat somehow defines your energy reservoir. So you have this kind of connection, and something happens here in the middle, such as metabolism, all this kind of things that could happen in your body during this process. So basically, you are saying that the stomach by ghrelin can influence your accumulation of fat. So ghrelin can fat utilization. It's important because since fat utilization will tell you if you are too fat or too lean or too thin. You can say that maybe if you have some kind of ghrelin anomaly, such as production of ghrelin, if you have the ghrelin resistance, which is not yet, I haven't found a paper about ghrelin resistance, but since leptin can have leptin resistance, maybe ghrelin as well can have the same problem. And insulin is already known for a long time that there is the concept of insulin resistance. So in this experiment, they have shown that the administration of ghrelin causes weight gain by reducing fat utilization. So in general, when you say that ghrelin causes weight gain, which is here, in general people are going to expect that this weight gain is because people start to eat too much. So that's what I thought, that's what I believe most of the people are going to think. But the paper showed that this increase in fat in weight gain is not because of it's not the consequence of eating too much. The consequence on the fact that ghrelin can have effect on your reservoir, on your reservoir of energy, which is represented by fat. However, in the paper it's not clear. Maybe it's clear, but it's kept my attention. I need to be sure. It's not clear whether we are talking about the brown or the white fat tissue, because leptin is produced mainly by the white tissue. The brown tissue initially was thought to be just a heater, kind of way to keep your body with a certain temperature, and it's well known that in babies it is very high, and as you grow up the amount of brown tissue, your percentage diminish. So now they have found that the brown tissue also is very important, but here it's not clear, but that's one question to keep in mind, whether this fat utilization is mainly on the white, on the brown tissue, or it's the same, there's no difference. So this sentence shows a connection between ghrelin and fat mass, and it's quite important because leptin has already been shown to have this connection. So if this is necessarily true, it means that you have found a way in which, if you have here a fat tissue and you have ghrelin and leptin connect to the same point. So it is a very nice observation for a mathematical point of view. What's not clear from the sentence is whether this reduction of fat utilization is direct or indirect. So as I have mentioned before, in that dot line, the continuous line, you have two kind of line. One saying that the connection to the fat was done by direct ghrelin go directly to the to the fat, or it was done by central nervous system. It's not answering the right question. So we know that the obese people, the other people with a high value of the body fat index, has low level of ghrelin, so they should burn the calories. So it's a kind of a paradox, because if you have you know that if you have a high level of a ghrelin, it should diminish the fat utilization. So that's what happened. But people that has a high body index, that's considered obese, they have a low level of ghrelin, so they're supposed to burn their energy. So they do not do that. So that's one of the that I mentioned before, the extreme of the rule. So most of the rule that was found so far for people will be people with a certain, there will be a minimum body mass index and a maximum body index. People that falls in these two, like obese or too anorexic, too thin, too lean, they do not respect this kind of law. So see that the people, that obese people in scale of as well, very thin people, they obese, they defy this kind of rule. So the question is, can you talk about ghrelin resistance like you can talk about leptin resistance? So that's a good question. Further, since ghrelin is associated with fat utilization, it must be connected to body mass control, so it's a long-term control. So leptin has so far been studied widely as a short-term control, which is appetite. So here we are making a connection with ghrelin with long-term control. So it's if you're trying to put some order, trying to put order in the house, trying to give name to the cows, trying to name it. So you find it very interesting, because your ghrelin is high when you are hungry. Okay, so it makes sense to inhibit fat utilization. So you can say that from a let's say a logical point of view, this sentence is not wrong. It's completely right. So it just makes confirming what you could have guessed by just thinking about the previous experiment. So it's a known experiment that when you lose weight, your basal ghrelin goes high. So if your basal ghrelin goes high when you lose weight, it will have a kind of compensation effect. So that's something very interesting to consider. So it means that you start to burn less fat and eat more. So you should irrigate weight. So you see that here you are seeing that these two sentences shows that the student was created by me. It was not taken from the paper. So it shows that this sense here makes sense from a logical point of view. So this graph is showing that just a scheme that you have here, the fat, and the ghrelin and leptin is connected to the fat. Ghrelin has an influence in the fat, and leptin is produced by fat. So leptin is a signal how much fat you have. So here we have three very important players. One is insulin, the second one is ghrelin, and the other one is leptin. So here I say that the three players are connected to fat tissue. So it shows that you have now a very nice connection between the two players. So previously we have said that the ghrelin is it's a connector. It creates edge between three nodes, which was the stomach, the hypothalamus, and the pituitary glands. Then you said that the ghrelin is a controller of fat utilization, and now we are saying that ghrelin is a brain efficiency signal. So ghrelin says to your brain that you should use energy more efficiently. So it's somehow you can even guess, that's one of the nice sentences as well as the previous one, that you could have guessed that if experiment that was done before. I'm not saying that the paper has no value. I'm just saying that the paper is it's completely complete suitable for what has been already published. So it's more, it makes sense, because if ghrelin goes high, it means that you are hungry. If you are hungry, in theory you don't know when you're going to eat. Maybe today you have a lot of food, but in the past we didn't have too much access to food. In one of my discussions, if the group that I'm working right now at the IASI in Gemelli Ospedale, it was we agreed, it was my idea, but fortunately they agreed with me that the evolution of your body is too slow compared to the evolution of our society. So now we have the availability of food much more higher than we had in the past. So our body still think that it is in the past. So the memory of your metabolism is of the primates, of the cavemen. So it means that our body still do not know that we are going to have food very fast. So ghrelin is just doing its job. So if you are hungry, in theory you do not know when I'm going to eat, but now we have food around. So by increase the efficiency of fat utilization and so on, it means that we are going to use energy that we have better. It's more than natural. So if you have a possibility of blackout in your country, in general the government, if it's a wise government, are going to tell you to expend less energy by sending signals such as increase the price of the energy, making advertisement, the television. So your brain is doing the place of government in the country. So it is the excerpt. So signal the hypothalamus when an increase in metabolism efficiency is necessary. So it is more than expected. So if you are trying to see it from a logic point of view. So it's completely in agreement with the previous sentence that you had done before. The key question is the time scale of this metabolism efficiency. Minutes, if so. So it's not very clear in the paper. So if it's like in the matter of minutes, we have a hormone that works in the same time scale as insulin. Otherwise, you have hormone that works the same time scale of leptin. So it's important to have this kind of information, because in a mathematical model, likely we are going to need to create a multi-time scale model, because if we want is fast in the other, it's senseless that we put them in the same time scale. So it was clearly decreased fat utilization. It seems from this sense that we just hear that the ghrelin work directly in the hypothalamus. So it's a kind of signal hypothalamus that you can see here. So it seems that the ghrelin goes direct to the hypothalamus to make the job, which is so it means that for me it means that if you come back to the previous slides, you are going to see that we have that dot line, that dot arrows. So it means that dot arrow is not wrong. So it seems this ghrelin goes to the brain must signal the body, and in general hypothalamus will do that by the central nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. So excerpt number 4, hyperphagia, energy expenditure and fat utilization. Hyperphagia, if you're not familiar with, is when you start to eat too much. It could be anomalies such as in a very nice program, TV program that I saw recently it was in Italian, but in Italian TV, but the program is American. It was adapted to the Italian, adapted to Italy. The name of the program is Night Shift. It's more or less Grocery Scrubs, which is a television program about doctors. And there was a case of a young woman that she had a tumor in the hypothalamus, and she started to eat a lot. She could not stop. Like it was involuntarily. So she was like eating a lot, and the doctor said she'll die because she ate too much. And since my Italian is not very good, I'm not very quite sure what would happen. But it seems to me that I understood that her stomach would explode. But my Italian is not the best, so maybe I failed to understand what the doctor said. But but they tried to remove the tumor, but still was not possible to stop. They trying to, so the strategy was they were had to decrease her stomach, the size of her stomach, but unfortunately it was the end of the season. So now they I don't know what happened if the young lady. So the fat gain seemed not to be a result of hyperphagia. So that's what you would expect. So the paper investigated whether ghrelin altered energy expenditure or decreased proportion of fat. So that's one of the key question. So how ghrelin works by energy expenditure or by utilization of the fat. So that there are two different ways. You can either, such as if you have that's what happened in our society. The old cars were very inefficient, so they increased the efficiency of the cars. But they soon realized that not enough to increase the efficiency. They created the electronic injection that was to exchange the old combustor chamber that was very rude way of burning gasoline. So the car nowadays they increase the not just the reservoir that now is much better than before, as well the way the energy of this reservoir, which is gasoline, is used. So since our bodies are the evolution system, so you have to expect that it as well solve the problem somehow in the similar way. So the question is whether this increase in fat gain is due to you use better the energy that's given away, or to decrease the amount of used of the utilization of the fat. Both of them can be possible. So if the fat gain did not come from hyperphagia, it must come from either energy expenditure or decreased fat utilization. So here we have a dichotomy. We have a dichotomy between fat utilization and appetite. So the next one, the excerpt number 5, is ghrelin as an energy equilibrium shifter. So somehow it's like it's a switcher. It's something that has the switch something from one to the other switcher. That is a kind of such as we have in your electrical system that can change energy from one point to the other, from one state to the other. So ghrelin is making this kind of work here now in our system. So basically what ghrelin does, according to the paper, it induces positive energy balance. So what means? So by decreasing fat utilization. So it means that the fat utilization is the way that the problem was solved. So it is similar to what we have done. So what we have done by the electrical injection in the new cars, we do like that. We make just the increase, because the old cars, if you take an old car and when they pass close to you, you can feel the smell of gasoline. So that's not going away. It's not efficient. So because that stuff was like someone talking split on your face, someone that talking cannot hold itself, so go like the drops everywhere. So you can say that the nature solved the problem very similar to the way we solved the problem of the car. So if you think that fat reservoir is here, that it's a fat reservoir, energy that comes in, that we have the influence in fat, energy that comes out, that we burn this fat. So what ghrelin does, it makes the inhibition of this output of fat utilization, and as well increase the amount of energy in. So but by the paper you can see that this effect here is much higher. This inhibition here is much higher than this increase in the food intake. So sorry, it was supposed to have a separate here, but let's just neglect it. So now it's not the same anymore. You want to accept number 6. So sugar intake as a circulating ghrelin controller. So sugar intake, but not stomach expansion, decrease circulating ghrelin levels. However, you must be careful with the sentence, because since this paper is not new, some new outflow has been shown that it's likely it's a kind of balance between each of them. That's what I have created my first mathematical model for ghrelin. I put a kind of parameter called alpha that you can change between 0 and 1, so you can make they have different proportion. So, but here this sentence say that stomach expansion is not the most important one. So, if you have food, then food can create two important signals in your body. The stomach can stomach expansion, or can at the same time increase the amount of glucose. Both of them supposed to control ghrelin, because if your stomach is extended, it means that you have a lot of food. However, if your glucose goes high, it means that you have a lot of food, so it's supposed to create control ghrelin. So, but however, the people say that this affects not, it can be it's not important, or it can be neglected. Finally, we arrive to the end of this review. The paper is quite small. This review was, I think I have done a miracle to make the review big, because the paper is very short. It's not a very long paper. I'm not sure, but I think it's 6 pages or even less. I think it's 4 pages. And the discussion here was not based just on the paper. It was based, because I have been reading a lot about ghrelin since February of this year. So it has been like 6 months or even more of working with ghrelin. So I read a lot of papers. So what I did here was to connect ghrelin with this paper with the other papers somehow, but not doing direct reference. So it was something more like experience and brainstorm. So finally, as you can see, ghrelin is a very important hormone in the control of energy, homeostasis. It does that by diminishing the fat utilization. Ghrelin works the hypothalamus and asks your body to increase efficiency of energy. All the previous work will concentrate on the fact that ghrelin increase appetite. So, but this paper is concentrated on the observation that ghrelin has effect as well in your metabolism. So ghrelin has a double function. It is a short-term controller, which is appetite, and it's a long-term controller, which is your metabolism, which is the metabolism of energy efficiency. You are welcome to contact me to let me know what you think, to give me new ideas. Maybe you know a very nice paper that I don't know, and since I'm doing a research in that area, any suggestion, any doesn't matter. Just let me know that I will take a look, and any contribution if you want, I'll be glad to make the proper credit to send the suitable amount of credit you could be interested in.